golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot.
President Donald Trump, in a lengthy State of the Union address, declared a golden age of America is upon us. Well, that address came amid lagging approval ratings and the Republican Party's midterm fortunes at stake.
So right now, we are pleased to break it all down for you with what it means to Kentuckiana with our political analyst, GOP strategist Iris Wilbur-Glick of IW Strategies, and from the Kentucky Democratic Party, Rick Adams. And I'll ask you first, Iris. He spoke a lot about the economy, but there are a lot of people who are saying he painted a rosy picture that most Americans aren't seeing when they still go to the stores.
So last night, a lot of expectation to set the tone for the midterm elections. And so it's on sort of the reigning party, which is, Republican majorities, to set the tone, which is embracing the economic improvements we've experienced within the last year, improvements over the last administration. So when we are able to particularly see our tax refunds come in, that'll be an added bump perception-wise regarding cost of living and how we experience purchasing, what affects us at the dinner table, but particularly the benefits of the tax cuts to Social Security, tips, overtime. I mean, this is exactly what voters wanted.
Rick, with mentioning the tax cuts and a couple of other things, there really weren't a lot of specifics in the president's State of the Union last night about the economy. Was that surprising to you because so many Americans are saying in polls that they are worried about the economy and they don't like the way that the country is going for the economy?
No, it wasn't surprising to me. I wouldn't think anyone would accuse Donald Trump of getting in the weeds on policy very often. But I think one of the things that he did double down on was his tariffs policy, which was certainly in the news after the Supreme Court ruling just the day before. And, even on their own terms, President Trump's success measure, manufacturing jobs are down. We're seeing that here in Kentucky, and prices are going up. So he was asking the American people last night to believe him over what they're seeing at their kitchen tables at the end of the month with their budgets. And I think that's going to be a tough argument to sell come November.
Iris, were you comfortable with his language where he said Democrats are destroying the country, that they were unelectable, and it was sort of giving a blueprint of the midterms, wanting Republican success, but that language wasn't really pulling the country together.
So it's important for the president to lean into opportunities of contrast. And so what you saw last night, was drawing the line regarding how do we prioritize, how do we elevate, how do we embrace American values and American pride. And so I was excited, relieved to see some instances within the union address that highlighted how we can come together, how we can celebrate success stories, individual Americans, their sacrifices, and the acknowledgments, the awards that were given out last night, and celebrating true amazing stories at the individual level, I thought was redeeming. I thought it was great, and I hope we can see more of that in this midterm cycle of ways for us to come together as a country and remember what we all can embrace and support together.
Okay.
Rick, were you surprised, though, on how hard he came down on Democrats that were there? I mean, we had 70 Democrats who didn't even show up to the State of the Union, said, I don't want to hear it. So you have these Democrats that show up, and he's calling them crazy. I mean, yeah, a lot of politicos said, asking about, wanting to protect the American citizens versus illegal aliens. That was a stunt, to embarrass them. Did it go too far?
I think it certainly went too far, but it's certainly not surprising. Donald Trump has been a national politician now for about 10 years, and since he's arrived on the scene, it's been his goal to divide Americans against each other, and he does that, with every opportunity that he can, and we saw more of that last night. And I think, the American people are tired of the showmanship and the games and the divisiveness and want to see real leadership and real solutions that are going to help them in their lives, and I didn't think we saw much of that last night. I will add to Iris's point, though, I think the best parts of the president's speech last night were when he was not focusing on politics and was highlighting real Americans in the crowd. The hockey team, he gave out the Medal of Honor to a veteran last night. I think really those were moments that got lost in the divisive nature and the partisan nature of his speech.
Let's switch to the race to replace Mitch McConnell. Longest-serving senator in Kentucky, U.S. Senate race. Iris, are you comfortable with Andy Barr's ad, the DEI ad that's being viewed, interpreted widely as being a racist ad that has now, everybody is talking about that. It came out of the blue.
I will agree with one element of your description, Doug. There's a lot of chatter, reactions to that ad. Not that the campaigns have reached out, but if I were giving them sort of unsolicited advice here, yes, it's important to break through, to get your name out there. A lot of undecideds on the Republican side in this primary. But it's so important that you elevate your campaign message and resonate, connect. But what makes you suitable to be the next U.S. Senator who's going to deliver for Kentucky? And I have not seen many of the candidates deliver on that front. What is their platform? What are they going to do to champion Kentucky in a meaningful way? Particularly since we've been spoiled, under the leadership of Senator Mitch McConnell, who's allowed us to really punch, beyond our weight class and being relevant on the national stage.
Are we hearing enough from the Democrats in this race? They're awfully quiet.
The Democrats are, they have a spirited primary happening right now. We have great candidates, Amy McGrath, Charles Booker. We have newcomer Dale Romans. So we're going to see who comes out of the Democratic primary and take on whoever comes out of the Republicans side in November. I think the Republican primary is kind of a good example of what Donald Trump has done to the Republican Party, which essentially they are campaigning for an audience of one. They're all competing for the president's endorsement. And I think Andy Barr's ad, which was mentioned, is a good example of how the president has coarsened our politics and has made it more divisive and less responsive to the American people.
Okay.
Well, Iris, Rick, thank you for your excellent analysis after the historic State of the Union address, the longest in history. He beat Bill Clinton there with that one. Well, don't forget, a brand new episode of The Powers That Be is good for you to watch tonight at 8 on WHAS 11+. This is our new political show. Iris and Democrat David Tandy will join us as they also handicap the U.S. Senate race in Kentucky. That's The Powers That Be tonight at 8.